Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama, September 13, 2023. Sorry about last night's James chapter 3. We had technical problems, and we're going to do it again Sunday morning, James chapter 3, powerful chapter. So we missed one last night. Anyway, tonight, Whack an Atheist. Professor Dave gets the prize again. Are there simple life forms? No. We believe God should get the glory for his creation. We're on Rumble and Odyssey and a bunch of other places. Go to Dr.Dino.com. You can see them all. Okay, we are straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles in Lenox, Alabama, at Creation Science Evangelism Ministry headquarters here. We believe the evolution theory is stupid. We have 16 lakes and ponds. You can come, or 17 now. Got a new one. Yeah. Come around. Come get the God, get the glory for his creation. Hundreds of science lessons that are really cool. Kids of all ages love it. I got to change it now. Look at that. 17 lakes and ponds because we've been digging. How long we had that machine? A week? You guys have been going day and night with that giant excavator digging out not only deeper fishing holes in all of our lakes so we can have fishing, but a new lake, okay? We're going to have fishing tournaments here at Dinosaur Adventure Land. Come on down, bring the wife and kids, okay? We have a crew's been dedicated digging fishing holes round the clock, deep, and now we need a front end loader to move all the dirt. We got giant piles of dirt that need to be moved. I don't want to do that with a shovel, that's for sure. That would take a while. I got my pilot's license when I was like 8 years old. My dad gave me a shovel and said, here, pile that dirt over here, son. Okay. If you want to help us get an end loader, that's the next project. Laszlo's been looking for them. They're about 8 or 10,000 for an old beat up one and 100,000 for a brand new one. But we'd like to get any kind of 8 or 10,000 end loader. If you know where got one for sale, let me know. Okay, September, James, we did not, James 3, we'll have to redo that for Sunday morning. Tonight, the 13th, so many atheists to whack. Who is next? It's a target-rich environment. I started searching last night and keeping records of atheists that I need to whack or I've whacked once and need it again. They didn't get the message. Hugh Laurie, I've never done him. Let's see, Glenn Branch, never did him. Critic of creationists. By the way, any of you guys, when I call your name, look at me. I'll debate you on my channel, your channel, neutral channel, anytime. You provide evidence for evolution. You claim you're an atheist. I don't think so. You haven't really studied how dumb your religion is. And you haven't studied the truth of what the scripture teaches. So you're not an atheist, you're an idiot, okay? You haven't studied the truth, okay? I'll debate any of you. Let's see, Ann Reed, Lynn, I don't know who half of these people are. Eric Glenn Branch, the director, wow, okay? I'll debate any of you, bring it on. Here you go, these are some of the people that work at the atheist headquarters in Berkeley, California. I'll take all of them on. National Center for Science Education, yep, you're all invited, I'll take y'all. Daniel Radcliffe claims to be an atheist, whoever he is. This guy says he's an atheist. This lady says she's an atheist. He claims to be an atheist. She claims to be an atheist. This one claims to be an atheist. He claims to be an atheist. This one claims to be an atheist. They're going to be surprised. Judgment Day, by the way. You're all invited. I'll take you all on at the same time. But I get half the time, no interrupting. Each you can take turns talking. Okay? Give the evidence for why you believe in evolution, because that's the only alternative. Somebody made this world, or it made itself. If there's a third option, I'd like to hear about it, okay? Claims to be an atheist, okay? It's better to be an outspoken atheist than a hypocrite. George. Is that the only two options you can think of? How about be a Christian? How about believe the Bible? That's like saying I'd rather die by getting hit with a semi than a train. How about I'd rather not die at all? You guys are incapable of thinking. Look at that, only two options. You can either be an outspoken atheist or a hypocrite. No, you can become a Christian, George. I'll lead you to the Lord. Call me, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. Take calls all day long, okay? Let's see, 37% of the professors at elite research schools like Hovind are atheist or agnostic. Whoa, okay. 50 atheist YouTube channels. The Atheist Experience in Austin, Texas. I'll debate all of you at the same time on your channel. If I get half the time, no interrupting, no cursing and swearing. Can you do that? Okay. Cosmic Skeptic, Thunderfoot, Aaron Nelson, calls himself the Sun God. I'll debate any of you. Come on, bring it on. Cult of Dusty. I just started looking at atheist. Thinking Atheist, Oklahoma. Pelagia, anytime. Where'd you go, Pelagia? Debated you once, you won't come back. Come on, anytime. There's no evidence for evolution. Logic, got to wear a costume to hide his face. Come on, where's the evidence for evolution? Rachel, how many times have we had to whack her? She don't get it. Still claims she's a female atheist YouTuber from England. Share my opinions. Yep, and they're dumb if you believe in evolution. Dumb, okay? Tell your daddy I said so. Holy Kool-Aid, Mr. Atheist, Talk Heathen, Godless Engineer. I'll take them all on. Matt Dillahunty, Atheist Republic, Pine Creek, I don't know what that is, Milwaukee Atheist. The open challenge now from little old Kent Hovind with a non-accredited degree. Okay, why do you hate Kent Hovind? I don't know. 6 reasons why Kent Hovind makes up. Let's see. Why do you hate Kent Hovind? Debate with Kent Hovind. I see. Atheists hate this video. Kent Hovind exposes lies. The guy who thinks he's a girl. Debated him a couple times. Okay. I'll be nice to you. I won't hurt you, honey. Come on, call me back for another debate, okay? Ken Hovind versus Aaron Ra. There we go. Let's see. Who did we get here? I forget that guy's name. It doesn't matter. I'll take them all out. Okay, boy, Aaron's got a bunch of stuff about me. You still don't have any evidence for evolution, do you, Mr. Nelson? None. Zero. None. Hovind versus, let's see, Ra. Supposed lies in the textbooks. Taking on the biggest evolution denier. Whoa, Simon Dan. Bring it back, son, anytime. I'll debate you. Come on. Your channel, my channel, neutral channel. Take your choice. Equal time, no interrupting. You start first. Where's the best evidence? Dan, there is none, and you better know it by now. No evidence for evolution. He calls me an evolution denier. No, I'm a realist. Nobody's ever seen a cow produce a non-cow. But you think a cow came from an amoeba, don't you? We'll talk about that tonight. Professor Dave destroys Kent Hovind. You think so, Professor Dave? Well, you get whacked tonight. It's your turn, and I'll debate you anytime. Anytime. Open challenge, okay? Cindy, no, we don't want to never mess with that one. Gee whiz. A 30-year-old punk who can't build anything spends his whole life trying to tear things down. Spent years and years trying to put together a video about me. What have you built, punk? Do something, okay? Your whole life. He does research into where did I get my degree? Where did I go to school? Abe Lincoln didn't go to school at all. Forget the degree. It doesn't matter. Deal with the facts, son, okay? This guy with the beard, because he was a fundamentalist preacher, went to Midwestern Baptist College, where I went. I didn't know him there. He was different years. But now he's an atheist, claims to be an atheist. Well, you're an idiot, sir. You're just plain idiot. I'm calling you that to your face. I'll debate you anytime. There's no evidence for evolution at all. Let's see. Why the world hates God. You're thinking of the wrong God. Atheists hate this video. Somebody added it up, brother, and said it's now 900 million views on all over the internet on that one. Where did God come from? Well, this one's only got 132, but you add up all the different websites that have played, I don't know, YouTube channels that have played it. There we go. Is that Emma? Bring it back. Or genetically modified. You've been genetically modified? I believe it. They removed half the brain because you believe in atheists. Believe in evolution. Let's see. Richard Dawkins. We debated him a bunch of times. Okay. Help us to open for free. Join our 777 club. Go to Dr. Dino. Did I get it right? Let's see. drdino.com. And I think I moved it. Did I? No. I got it. I can't find it now. Okay. Whack-a-mole. Whack an atheist game. It's fun. We play it at Dinosaur Adventure Land. They stick their head up. We whack them back down. I'll move over, brother. Okay. So whack-a-mole game. Object, when they stick their head up and say something dumb, you whack them back down. Atheists say, we believe in simple life forms. Whack. No, there's no such thing as a simple life form. No stupid people allowed here. Okay. Whack-a-mole. You never did improve my editing here, did I? Right there. Look at that. Photoshop, put my own head in there. You think you can do better, huh, Joseph? Okay. Tonight, the winner is Professor Dave. I'm sorry, Strawberry Dave explains. He believes he's related to a strawberry. He told me. Okay. So we're going to go over to a different, let's see, part of my computer here and go to slide number 1960. See if I can get it to work here. Almost. Technical 1 point. Professor Dave. Okay. By the way, I forgot to thank Sandy and Donald Kirshner. Write to us a couple times a week, help support our ministry from Idaho. Thank you so much. Our secretary is going to send you a letter. She said, would you just give them a shout out? Hi, Sandy and Donald. Did I do a shout out? Okay. Come visit Alabama sometime. We'd love to have you. Let's see, Professor Dave and his simple life forms. Let's see. Here's Professor Dave. Strawberry Dave. Take it away, Dave. Let's hear it.
He knows a lot about science, Professor D explains.
We have tackled the big question of the origin of life on Earth.
No, you have not tackled it, Dave. You didn't tackle the big question of life on Earth arising from non-living material. There is no scientific explanation for how life arose from non-living material. You didn't tackle it at all. Okay, quit lying to your people, claiming them you did. You did not. You do excellent teaching on a lot of stuff, Dave. You really are a gifted teacher. But you're wrong about this evolution stuff. Knock it off. Rethink it, okay? Man, put your thinking skills into that. You got brainwashed and you believed it. Okay, I'm sorry, go on here.
In its evolution over in the biology series. But how does this relate to ecology? For starters, the origin of life implies the simplest, most ancient organism arising from non-living matter.
Bingo, that's what it implies. Where is the evidence for ancient matter turning into something alive? You talk about a simple life form, and that simple life, simplest, most ancient organism arising from non-living matter. And you pass this over like it's already been proven. No, it hasn't. You can't get over step one. Step one is you got to get the origin of time, space, and matter from nothing. Where did it come from? Where did time come from? What was before time was here? Where did space come from? And where was it hiding before space was evolved? You can't answer any of the basic questions, Dave, and you ought to know it by now. But you just make this claim, oh yeah, ancient life forms, ancient mud turned into something living. That's a claim you're making, but you're the king. We can't question the king. I understand that, okay? No such thing as a simple life form. If I said, well, if we start with the assumption elephants can fly, and then I go on and give a whole big story, stop. Elephants can't fly. Everything after that is null and void. And everything you're going to say on this whole video after your first statement is null and void. There is no way life formed from non-living material. Let's get back to here and go to this one. Got to be a quicker way to do this, brother. You'll find out. I'm getting there. I've been doing PowerPoint a long time, and I'm still having a hard time with it. Maybe I'm there. Question the king. Okay. How did single-celled creatures become multicellular? Didn't happen, ever. There's no such thing as a simple organism. Pay attention, Dave. I'm going to teach you tonight, okay? You're not related to a strawberry. And simple life, there's no such thing as simple life, and it sure didn't come from non-living matter. What may be the most thorough study ever of a single organism has produced a beta code of life's essential outline, subroutines. Okay. Did life evolve in a warm little pond like Darwin said? Scientific American. Charles Darwin, reluctant to publish his views on life's origin. His only speculations on the subject are known from a private letter to his friend. And he said it might have come in a warm little pond. The first molecules of life could have formed. No simple life forms exist. Evolution is a myth. There's no such thing as a simple life form. The trichoplax is the simplest animal on Earth. It has no mouth, stomach, or brain. Yet it can teach how these and other organs evolved. Really? Mycoplasma, the simplest natural organism, a bacteria that can cause pneumonia, has 525 genes. If I told you I want you to write a sentence that has 525 letters in it, what's the chances of that sentence arising by chance, by scrabbling up, the Scrabble alphabet and dropping them on the floor? 525. There's no chance, close to none in a billion years, trillion, quadrillion years. Not going to happen. Let's see. In comparison to E. coli, it has 4,288 genes. Humans have roughly 20,000. So this little mycoplasma only has 525 genes. That is complex. That could not have happened by chance. It lives in primitive genital cells, primate genital cells, and respiratory tracts. It's considered to have the smallest genome of any species. Okay? Scientists hypothesized that nanobes are the smallest form of life, 1/10 the size of the smallest known bacteria. Now we're talking real tiny, okay? Let's see. Prokaryotes are the simplest known living organisms. The trichoplax, the simplest animal on earth. No mouth, stomach, or brain. It can teach how those organs evolved. Really, okay? Nature magazine did a study on this trichoplax. What did they find out? As arguably the simplest free-living animals, placozoans represent a primitive metazoan form. 98 million base pair nuclear genomes. 98 million base pairs. What? And you think it happened by chance? And that's the simplest one. You should see the complicated ones. And you think it happened by chance. This compact genome shows conserved gene content, gene structure, synteny in relation to the human and other complex eumetazoan genomes. Despite the apparent cellular and organismal simplicity of trichoplax, its genome encodes a rich array of transcription, factor, and signaling pathway genes. It's already way more complicated than our computers are, and this is the simplest one? Yep. Here it is, the body plan for these things. They've been studied very carefully. Trichoplax genome. We produced a high-quality draft sequence of the 98 million base pair trichoplax genome. From the article in Nature magazine, okay? And this is the simplest one. Now, before Professor Dave goes off on any more, you can't get over this hurdle. There is no such thing as a simple life form. Elephants can't fly. The rest of the story doesn't matter. The rest of your story doesn't matter, Dave. You can't get life to evolve. Trichoplax gene complement, let's see. We estimate the trichoplax genome has 11,514 protein coding genes. And happened by chance. And that's the simplest one? Stop and think what you're saying. Metazoan signaling pathway. It has a complex wiring system, the way they spread the message around. It's not simple. Stop calling it simple. But the textbooks say all the many forms of life on Earth today are descended from a common ancestor found in a population of primitive unicellular organisms. There is no such thing as a primitive unicellular organism. You're lying right there, and everything after that is meaningless in your fairy tale. So the textbooks do teach that all life came from some single-celled organism, and that's what you teach, Dave, okay? No traces of those events remain. Oh, that's handy, okay? There is no evidence of any animal ever producing anything other than its same kind. No evidence that we came from a single-celled creature. It's just imagination. The textbooks do teach that we all came from a single-celled creature. The turtles, let's see, the snakes, the birds, and the mammals all have a common ancestor, and that ancestor was protozoa. Yep. Single-celled creature. That is what they teach. We can agree they do teach that. We can agree they're not simple. And they think it turned to a biology teacher. This is propaganda. Textbooks do teach that all life forms evolve from a single-celled organism like an algae or an amoeba. Can we agree on that? Okay. This one teaches sharks, starfish, ferns, and octopus came from a common ancestor, a single-celled creature. All life on Earth evolved from a single-celled organism that lived roughly 3.5 billion years ago. Oh, yeah, Toyota, Kawasaki, Mitsubishi. Okay. A new study seems to confirm. The study supports the widely held universal common ancestor theory proposed by Charles Darwin. Mm-hmm. Hey, if it's in National Pornographic, it's got to be true. Okay. So they say the first life form was a primitive unicellular organism. Can we agree that is what they teach? Okay? Primitive unicellular organism. Single-celled organisms are not simple. They are complex. To get from having nothing to having all time, space, and matter is a leap you can't make, nobody can make. There is no evidence how we came from a dot of near nothing. Where did that dot come from? The smaller than a proton. And you want to go from there to time, space, matter. I'm sorry, that's not science. That's religion. It's a giant leap of faith. Cannot be considered science, okay? Then you want to go from non-living matter to a living cell. That's where you are on this one, Dave. That's not science. It's a religious belief. You're putting forth dogma, propaganda, You're lying, actually. You may not know it. Hope it's not deliberate. Then to go from a living cell to a living cell that's able to reproduce and make babies. That's another giant leap. Really big leap. Let's see. Then from one that's able to reproduce to one that can produce something other than its own kind. Nobody's ever seen that. That's not science to claim it happened and to draw lines on paper. To go from a living cell to multicellular. That's never been seen. They cluster together for a while and break apart. Nobody's ever seen nothing change to matter. Never been observed. It can't be considered part of science. The giant leap from non-living to life has never been observed. That's not part of science. The giant leap from life to replicating life has never been observed. That's not part of science. Leap from replicating life to produce other than its own kind. That's never been observed. It's not science. God said 24 times in his book, the first 7 chapters, they would bring forth after their kind. That's all anybody's ever seen. Giant leap from single cell to multi-celled has never been observed. That's not part of science. Here's a single-celled creature. They're not simple. They have a cell membrane, a nucleus, cytoplasm. Within the cytoplasm is all kinds of critters in there. It's not simple, okay? No such thing as a simple life form. Cytoplasmic organelles. Cytoplasmic organelles, little organisms suspended in the cytoplasm of the cell. Now, the cell's real tiny. You probably got 100 trillion in your body. Each cell is tiny, and it's got stuff, the juice in there, the cytoplasm, that has things inside the juice. We're talking real tiny now, okay? All these cytoplasmic organelles, mitochondria, ribosomes, etc., okay? By definition, organelles are the membrane-bound structures in a cell. Okay. All the mitochondria, etc. You can study all that for yourself. There are many unicellular organisms, probably millions, certainly a lot. They say there are 20,000 species of unicellular organisms, paramecium, bacteria, amoeba, etc. 20,000 species. The ocean is said to hold 2.9 times 10 to the 29th power. That would have 29 zeros after it. That's a lot in the ocean, okay? Let's see. What's the genome size of some of these single-celled, simple life forms? Let's see. 670 billion base pairs. 600, and you think that's simple. That's the code to write the gene code to make this critter. 90 billion in the trumpet lily. So the amoeba has more than a lily? Yeah. A human's only got 3.2 billion. The amoeba is not simple. There is no simple life form. They are lying. There is no such thing as a primitive unicellular organism. Tell all the writers that was that whole Glencoe biology, I'll take them all on. They're lying. Don't pass over this step, kids. There is no way they can explain how life got started. It would be easier and simpler to build a space shuttle and launch it into space than to make a single-celled organism. And we know there's engineers and smart people working on making the space shuttle and launching it. But you think the single-celled organism, nobody made it. No, not one single part of the space shuttle formed itself or happened by chance. Each nut, each bolt was designed, okay? Let's see. E. coli has DNA 4.6 million. Let's see. Genetic code is a set of rules used by living cells to translate information encoded within the genetic material into proteins, okay? Again, amoeba, 670 billion. Whole bunch, right? Trumpet lily, human, etc. Now, some of these single-cell creatures have little hairs on the back called flagellum. That's their tail that they swim with. It can spin around. Cellular organisms divided into 2 groups, prokaryotes and eukaryotes, okay? Are there any 2-celled organisms? What are 2 single-celled organisms? No, are there 2-celled? Unicellular organisms, bacteria, protists, and yeast, okay? The flagella spins at 1,000 revolutions per second. What's the highest you've ever revved an engine? You guys work on engines here. Yeah, you get up around 5,000-6,000, you're looking for something to come apart. That's per minute. Revolution, RPM, revolutions per minute. This little bacteria has a motor that spins 1,000 revolutions per second. Stop and think. Professor Dave, you really think nobody made that? It just made itself. And that is a little tiny motor inside the skin of the bacteria, which is tiny. They say if you took a hair off your head, cut it off, the stump of the hair is big enough to hold 8 million of those motors. 8 million of those motors would fit on the stump of a hair. No such thing as simple unicellular organisms. Stop right there. The rest of your fairy tale is meaningless, okay? It's alive, it's complex. The Bible says the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen. These things are invisible. You have to look at them with a microscope. Can't see it with your eye. Tiny, tiny critters. They knew God. They glorified him not as God. Neither were thankful. Professing, is that professor? You got to put Dave in there. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. And Dave is intelligent in many ways. And he's a great teacher on many subjects. But he's wrong. He's stupid about this topic. There is no evolution. And if you wouldn't lose sponsors for teaching the truth about that, why don't you teach the truth, Dave? Nobody's ever seen a bacteria come alive, anything come alive from non-living material. But they got these textbooks with these charts in here. Oh yeah, we all came, the sun ignited, and the earth formed 4.6 billion years ago. Then the moon broke off the earth. This is the stuff kids have to learn in school. It's propaganda. It's not science. And the bacteria came along. Oh yeah, eukaryotes, bacteria, protozoa, just formed. They just put it on a chart, and the kid says, oh, wow, look, it's in the book. It had to happen. No, it didn't happen, okay? This is pure propaganda, nothing more. I'll debate anybody you can find on this topic. There is no evidence how life formed from non-living material, none. If they could make it in the laboratory, and they're nowhere close, that would only prove my point. It takes intelligence to make life. They don't get it. Multicellularity, can evolve in a year. Really? No, it did not. They grouped together for a purpose and then broke back apart into single cell. Why did single cells start to cooperate? Major evolutionary transitions. Oh, the single cells got together. Now I'm going to let you go on to step 2 of your lecture about how you just make the statement, oh, that happened. They got together. Here we go. The first step of them coming from non-living material, forming life, didn't happen. You're done. I'm going to let you tell the rest of the fairy tale, but kids in school have to face this stuff all the time. It's like starting off, first day of class, well, boys and girls, if elephants could fly, then the rest of the class is about what elephants would do if they could fly. How they'd break off tree branches. You wouldn't want to stand under them when they got to go potty, all that stuff. Okay, they can't fly. Your step 1 is not true, but let's let him talk some more. I'm sorry.
And then subsequently evolving very gradually over millions of years.
You're just making up a story, Dave. Nobody sees this. This is propaganda, not science.
To more complex organisms. These then formed populations, communities, ecosystems, and then eventually the entire biosphere.
Again, you're making up a story. It's true there are communities and ecosystems and biospheres, no question. But you're just saying they formed from this simple life cell, the simple first cell. You see how they get by with this? Just feed it in there and the kids believe it.
Thus the ecology connection. So just what is evolution in this ecological context? We can think of evolution as the change in heritable traits.
That's traits that they can inherit. How many of you inherited some traits from your parents? Either your hair color, skin color, whatever, okay? I think we all did, Dave. So how did you get the traits to begin with? How did Grandpa get them and great-grandpa? It's true you inherit them, and sometimes they give you an advantage. Like maybe dark skin, you could hide in the dark better, okay? Right?
Those traits that are transmissible from parent to offspring of biological populations over many generations. The process of evolution gives rise to diversity at every...
Stop right there. Again, you're dreaming. There is no process of evolution. There is a lot of complicated things going on to pass on all these genetic traits, okay? Really complex code. But you're just grossly oversimplifying this. This doesn't happen. You're claiming this is evolution. This is not evolution. This is design. People are designed to have babies and have grandkids and great-grandkids. All the animals are designed to make babies. All the plants are designed to produce offspring. They're all designed, Dave. Why can't you see that? Why can't you say that?
Every level of biological organization. While studies in evolution consider the processes by which modern organisms have developed from ancestral ones.
Again, they're just putting a chart, making lines on paper, lining up a bunch of skulls, and making the claim that they're connected. You don't know that any of those skulls you found in the dirt had children. You sure don't know they had different children. None of the people today can produce anything other than people. None of the apes produce anything other than apes. Baboons make baboons. Chimpanzees make chimpanzees. Orangutans make orangutans. Spider monkeys make spider monkeys every time. But you want to line them up in a chart and claim that's evidence because you got them lined up. That's stupid. Strawberry brain. Okay.
The field of ecology explores the interactive web of organisms and the environment.
Now, that's true. How all these organisms interact. That's true. That's interesting science. Now you're talking science. How they got here is not science, Dave.
Organisms evolve because they are...
No, they didn't evolve at all. Organisms are designed to do what they do. The walking stick is designed to make baby walking sticks. That's all they make. I tell you what, I'll give you $10, $12. I got $12. I'll give you $12 if you will show me a walking stick make anything other than a baby walking stick. Fair enough?
In ecological relationships with other organisms of their environment, and because the environment itself influences their evolution via natural selection.
Well, natural selection works, Dave, but it only selects what's available. You think if a walking stick has the ability to reach a little further and grab another leaf that the other ones can't, and he therefore, his kids all have longer arms, they're going to make more babies? Yeah, that's true. Okay. Variations happen. Natural selection selects. Certain ones might get selected to not make it. Okay. But it doesn't change it anything else. That's where you go dreaming. I wonder what strawberries dream about. We could get a government grant, do a study on that.
Yes, sir.
What do strawberries dream about? With whipped cream on them. Oh, then they really, okay.
So even though we may think of evolution as all the changes that took place over millions of years.
Yeah, you can dream about that. There's no evidence for the millions of years also, okay? You're just dreaming, Dave. Look, you draw your chart with the lines. We started off with the Precambrian era, then the Paleozoic era, and the first single-celled microbes. There you go. You just make the statement, 3.5 billion years ago it happened. This didn't happen. After that, your whole chart is ink on paper. You want to save the environment? Stop teaching evolution. Stop wasting paper on dumb signs like this, okay?
The truth is that evolution is at work all the time.
No, it's not. Natural selection is at work. God made all the animals, the butterflies, the moths, to make babies after their kind. And only generally the strongest survive. Okay, that's good. It keeps the species strong, that's all. Doesn't change a butterfly to an elephant.
Sometimes the changes are small and appear insignificant at first glance, but they all play a part in natural selection and the survival of the species. Speaking of natural selection, this is one of the many mechanisms of evolution. In most cases, it doesn't lead to the development of a new species.
In no cases does natural selection make a new species. That just makes variations of the same kind. That's all it does. Stop lying to your students, Dave.
It simply allows a species to better adapt to its environment.
I agree. Natural selection works, but it doesn't create anything. It selects from traits that are already available. If I said, I'm going to move to Hawaii and create a population of people that are 20 feet tall. So we're going to start off by eliminating everybody who's under 20 feet and only let those that are over 20 breed. How long would it take me to get a population of 20-footers? Never going to happen, is it? That's where you're all confused, Strawberry Dave, about this natural selection doesn't create anything.
By changing the genetic makeup from one generation to the next, the organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring.
Okay, so he's showing that the darker rats or whatever they are can hide on the dark background. That's true. And generally, the hawk's going to see the lighter colored ones first and going to eat them. And then only the dark ones. It's still a rat. It didn't change anything. They already had dark rats. There are already dark and light skin colors in the rat population before the hawk even came around. So the hawk selected the ones he could see and ate them. That's not evolution. How can you not see that? It was already designed to make different color baby rats.
And this plays a role in the evolution of beneficial features. If a species lacks a certain trait that will allow it to survive, the species either dies out or eventually develops the missing trait.
So if a giraffe has a short neck and can't reach the branches, he dies out. Dave, let me try to explain something to you. Giraffes also have long legs, okay? and they have a long neck so they can reach the ground to get a drink. If they had the long legs and a short neck, they couldn't reach the ground to get a drink, could they? Giraffes were designed with long legs and long necks, and there's no evidence of them evolving from anything else, and they always make baby giraffes. Always, every time. You can dream and draw lines on paper connecting them to anything you want, but that's not science.
A modern example of this is insects and our use of pesticides. The more a pesticide is used, the greater the chance that the insects targeted will develop immunity to the chemical.
Okay, look what he did now. First picture, he got a bunch of white bugs and one red bug, indicating one of them has an immunity to the stuff you're going to spray on them. You're going to spray poison on them. The red one's going to make it. He's got he had it before the poison came around. And so you killed off all the white guys, and now the red guy's the only guy around to make babies. And pretty soon you got a population of all red bugs. You didn't create anything. You selected a trait that already existed. I'll tell you what, Dave, do the same experiment, put all your bugs on a leaf, and come in with a sledgehammer and start smashing. Not insecticide, I mean a sledgehammer. None of them are going to survive. So then, how does that prove evolution? See, they already had the resistance to the insecticide. If you get one that already has the resistance to a sledgehammer, then it might work. But again, it's not creating that resistance. The first one has to have it, or he don't make it. We can go all day on his diatribe here, but that's our time is up. So my position is very simple. You guys, all you atheists, all of you are invited to debate me anytime. Okay, your channel, my channel, neutral channel. I'll take you all on. There is no evidence for evolution. There is no evidence how life got started from non-living matter. None. No evidence at all. You are lying when you say there is. And to just make the statement, well, the first life form came out of the... Stop right there. Show me some science. It didn't happen. It can't happen. And I'm calling you all liars or stupid. I take your choice. Now, there's only two choices on this one, okay? Okay? I can't think of a third choice. There is no evidence of how life got started from non-living material. None. Show it to me. Bring it on. Call 855-BIG-DINO, extension 4, if you want to schedule a debate over there with our tech guy. Extension 3, if you want to talk to me. I'll be glad. There is none. And watch the comment section now. They're going to go on to something beyond the first point. How did life get started? By the way, there's another point before that. Where's all this matter coming from to even start to evolve into life? Where did the planet come from for them to stand on? Where did the heat come from? Where did the time come from? That's another story. But anyway, tonight only, Dave, you start off your fairy tale with a simple life form, and there's no such thing as a simple life form, and there's no evidence of one evolving by itself. Okay? Bring them on. What's the questions you got there? A chemical compound was able to replicate itself. You really? Crybaby? Where did you read that? Okay? The chemical compound grew more complex over time while retaining the ability to replicate itself. It was then able to perform more functions. Man, you drank the Kool-Aid, didn't you, crybaby? Have you been to that Jim Jones place? Where was that at? Someplace in Africa. Yeah, you drank the Kool-Aid for sure, son. Jonestown, that was it. I'm sorry, you are mistaken, crybaby. That did not happen. Okay, try again. Okay, are there any thoughts about where the land of Nod is that Cain went to after killing Abel? Get my globe here. I would say after Cain killed Abel, the Bible says he went to the land of Nod. The entire world was destroyed by Noah's flood. There is no possibility of knowing where that was. Possibly under 50 feet of mud in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I don't know. No way to know. The whole world was destroyed, okay? The idea of separating animals in kinds is flawed. Well, the idea of developing species is flawed too. There are 26 different definitions of species. The animals don't care what we call them or how we classify them. They don't care at all. You turn all the animals loose in the woods, they know what to look for in a mate. Our squirrels show no interest in the cats or dogs or pine trees. They're looking for another squirrel. Every time, without exception. They're smarter than you atheists. So the fact that man is always trying to classify things. We try to put vehicles together. This is a convertible, or this is a 2-door, a 4-door, front engine, rear engine. We classify things. The animals don't care how we classify them. We've decided if it has hair, bears live young, gives milk, it's a mammal. They don't care. We've decided if it swims in the water, it's a fish, unless it breathes air above water. Then it's not a fish. It's a whale or a dolphin or a mammal. The whales don't care that we put them in a different category than the fish. They don't care at all. Okay? All right. Hey, Dr. Hovind, why don't protons repel each other in the atom and nucleus? Great question, Taylor. In the nucleus of an atom is protons, which are all positively charged. And they should, since they're all the same, repel each other, except in San Francisco. Okay? So you would think every atom in the world would explode. The Bible says about Jesus Christ, by him, all things consist or hold together. He's holding everything together as best I can figure out. Okay? Good question. All right, Tommy. I literally have turned Kent's voice into my sleep lullaby. Is that a compliment or a jab? Ha! Some of his points I've heard before and can help me fall asleep. And the new interesting points make me listen to the same video over and over. Well, thank you, Tommy. I guess, thank you. I don't know. Put you to sleep, huh? Okay. How do you whack peoples whose brains are hard as rocks they evolved from? Well, there's different hardnesses of hammers, okay? Surprising. Steel is rated different levels of hardness, and sometimes it takes a hardened steel, tempered 20-pound sledge for some of these guys. And I know full well some of them, I'm not going to get them, okay? That's okay. The rest of the audience sees it and says, man, that guy is retarded. Yes, I keep whacking him. He's not listening, but everybody else says, wow, Hovind's right. You can't get life from non-living material. There's no such thing as a simple life form. Wow, I never thought of that. And there's no such thing. Stop. Elephants can't fly. And there's no such thing as a simple life form. Strawberry, Dave, I'm Dave. Start over. Stick to teaching the stuff you're good at and leave the evolution subject out of your repertoire, okay? You're wrong. Okay. Maze. Did we ever find a fox is part of the dog kind or not? Could it be put part of the squirrel prairie dog kind? Again, I don't care the fox. I don't think the foxes care. Titus, you organized all our foxes up there. How many do we have? The stuffed mounted foxes.
Stuffed ones, we got about 6 of them.
6 of them. There are 37 different kinds of foxes that man has decided to call them a different kind. They could probably reproduce. Can foxes reproduce? Can somebody Google that? Can foxes and dogs reproduce? Foxes and wolves can. Foxes and coyotes can. I'm sorry, dogs and coyotes and dogs and wolves. But I don't know. Let me get back to here. What is their kind? What's it saying? Just give me a yes or no. Can foxes and dogs? I tell you what, foxes and snakes cannot. Okay, that I know. What? Foxes and dogs cannot. So by our modern classification system developed by Carolus Linnaeus, we know kingdom, order, family, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. We've probably put them in a different category. Again, the foxes don't care. Turn them loose, they know what to look for every time. Unless they're in San Francisco. Okay. All right, any others? I do believe in God. I believe God allowed creation to evolve. Well, Chris, God created the creatures with the ability to produce a variety of offspring so some can survive in different climates. That's planning ahead. You know, General Motors, I was working at GM building trucks. They put heaters and air conditioners in the same vehicle. How many have ever heard of it? You ever seen one of them? A car with both a heater and an air conditioner? Why would they do that? Don't they do opposite things? No, they're planning ahead. They don't know if that truck's going to go to the North Pole or to the equator. So give them both a heater and an air conditioner, and they can decide which they want. God gave all the animals the ability to produce a variety of offspring. That's proof of design. They're not evolving. Some dogs prefer the cold weather. Huskies, wolves, they like it up there where it's cold in North Alaska. Great, they can have it. They wouldn't survive at the equator like the dingo would. So it's the same, it's still a dog. So no, that's not evolution. Sorry, try again. All right, any more? That's it. All right, let's see. Thank you. See you tomorrow. And James, we'll get James 3. Sorry for those who missed it. Sunday.